line. So these are people who get together and they have trials to see how quickly they can memorize a deck of cards in order. They're randomly shuffled and they see each card and they look and see how fast you can do it. And I think one of the records is like 25 seconds. Or they look at how many items you can remember in a sequence. And I think one gentleman has memorized the digits to pi. You know, that's the infinite number. I think 6,000 places. So, and they do this all with this idea about creating mental imagery and using the memory path that we've had you think about. Okay, so as Ryan was saying, you use a familiar location and you have about 25 waypoints in it, and you have a consistent order that you go down that path. And then you link the information to those different waypoints along the way in your path. And we're going to practice linking with some mental imagery. Okay? And the more personalized and unique is really critical here, the link, the more memorable it is. And it's also a way to make it kind of fun and crazy, too. And this type of memory path that is linking information to a specific sequence that you're familiar with, it's been used since the Greeks and the Romans, the orators. They had no notes. They just gave hour-long lectures, and they used exactly this. So this is a very old and very powerful technique. So let's try it. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I do it. Okay, so you can just listen. And I'll show you how I've done it with my memory path, and then we'll get you to practice one. Okay? So here's the list. And so I use my house. It's a very common thing to use for a memory path. So, and what I'm going to do then is I'm going to start in my driveway, and I'm going to take different points along the way, and I'm going to link this grocery list to those different points, okay? So the first item I want to get at the grocery store is bananas. Okay, I'm looking at my driveway. My car is in the driveway, and oh no, there's a bunch of monkeys jumping all over the car eating bananas, and they're throwing the peels inside the car, and they're making a horrible mess. And there are peels lying all around the car, and if I walk by, I'm going to slip on one and maybe fall. So that's my bananas, and I've got these monkeys jumping all over the place, eating lots of bananas, and making my car a mess. Okay, corn. I'm walking from my driveway to my house, through my front yard, and someone has planted a whole field of corn in my front yard. And the corn is like growing like Jack and the Beanstalk. It's just growing up. And I can't believe it. And how am I going to get to my front yard? Because there's no path anymore. It's just a field of waving corn. And so I'm digging through the corn, trying to get to my front door. And what do I see on my porch? But a Ferris wheel of a cheese. It's a cheese wheel. And it's going around and around. And who's on that cheese wheel? There are mice on that cheese wheel. It's like a little Ferris wheel for mice. And they're going around and around and jittering, and eating little bits of the cheese as they go. That's the cheese I need to remember. I walk into my door. Oh my God, there is a river running down my stairs. And on that river is salmon trying to leap up the steps. What a mess. And they're making their way up the stairs. My dog has gone to get paper towels to try to clean up the mess. But what did he do but grab the roll of paper towels, he grabbed a sheet, and he ran around the living room. And so now my whole living room is just covered with one single roll of paper towels. It's not helping the steps very much, but he's having a good time. Spaghetti. Wow, now I'm going to go into my dining room. And there's a family there, a very nice family. I have no idea who they are and why they're in my dining room. But there's a little baby sitting in a high chair eating spaghetti and looking really, really messy. And they've got tomato sauce and everything all over the walls. Eggs. I walk into my family room where the TV is, and suddenly a bunny hops out of the TV with a basket full of eggs, it must be the Easter Bunny. What's he doing here at this time of year? But he's got a bunch of eggs and he's going to go deliver them. Okay. What do I have next? Tomato sauce. Well, I'm going to go back into my dining room and there's the tomato sauce. That's all over the face of the kid eating the spaghetti. Cream cheese. Walk into my kitchen. My refrigerator door is open and it's the Philadelphia cream cheese is just spilling out. It's all over the place. Frozen peas. I look outside on the deck. My guys are sitting there playing marbles with peas. And they're rolling them around on the deck. Okay, that's my memory path. Can we remember it? What's first? Bananas. Then what? Then what? Cheese. What's next?
Paper towel.
Spaghetti. Cream cheese and peas. Isn't that easy? And it's fun, right? And the more bizarre the images you can come up with, the better. But it has to be personal. It has to be things that pop into your mind. And that's the thing, is that it has the easiest image to do is one that pops into your mind. Don't struggle with it as much as try to just let it come in, and then that's the best image. And the more you practice having those images pop into your mind, the easier it gets, and the easier the linking gets. And so when those memory champions are learning the sequence of cards, and they're learning and the digits of pi to 6,000 places, they're using their memory path, and they're linking each digit or each card to a path that they've created. That's very automatic for them, so they don't have to really think about it. And they quickly just create those links at every waypoint. What's the list again?
Bananas, corn, cheese,
Okay. There's a bit of space retrieval for you too. So you don't need, one strategy may not, you don't need to only use one strategy. You can always combine them like that too, right? And that's even more powerful. Okay. Yes?
Do you use the same kind of path for, let's say, if you have a different grocery list?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
Or would you get confused with
You
your
will.
previous?
So there's a couple of things there. It's probably different people do different things. So right now, if we tried to create another list using that path, it would be hard because we'd have a lot of interference from these images that I just created and we're seeing in our heads, right? So it doesn't hurt to have 2 or 3 paths that you can use for at different times. The other thing is typically these memory paths are usually, and unless there's something really unique about it, are usually for short-term information, right? So you can just use it, and over the course of a few days, if you don't practice anything, if you don't practice space retrieval, if you don't do anything else about it, over the course of a few days or a week, you may find that the information fades. But it's going to depend on you folks and how powerful the imagery is for you. For me, I think those images would last for a while. So if I wanted to use another path for a while to make sure that I don't get that interference. So it doesn't hurt to have 2 or 3 in your back pocket, right, to use in different things. I should say this whole idea about imagery per se is a really powerful technique. You don't have to actually use it to link sequences of information. You can also use it just to link information together, such as using the imagery for remembering someone's name. You can do it that way. And I'll share with you, this morning I was walking into work going over this session, and I decided I wanted to change something in the slides. I haven't told you that yet. But, I wanted to change something in the slides, and so I said to myself, okay, I can't forget to do that when I get to my office. So what I did was imagine when I open the door to my office, I have a whole bunch of boots falling out. to remind me that when I get into the office, I have to do something about the boot camp. Right? And it's a unique thing. And when I got there, I opened the door, and of course there weren't any boots, but I had that idea, that image in my mind, and I fixed what I wanted to fix. So you can use linking like that, or the imagery like that, as a way to just handily remember something over the short term as well. When you're walking somewhere and you want to remember to tell someone something, you can link that way. Yeah.
Why is it easier to remember a vision, an image of the boots than it is to remember the word boot camp?
Why is it easier to remember the vision or the image of the boot rather than the word boot camp?
Also memory.
Yeah, it's all memory, but images are richer. Right? Remember I told you that one of the things about memory that makes it easier to retrieve is the richness of the information, right? And when you have lots of context around something you want to remember, it's easier to get to it and pull it out again. So with the boot camp, the boots in the boot camp, that's a really good question. With the boots in the boot camp connection, I had my room, I had the boots falling out, I had sort of craziness about it. And all of those things, the place, the vision, the intention, those all linked together for me and made it easier when I opened the door. Okay, rather if I just kept saying to myself, boot camp, boot camp, boot camp, right? Well, I would get distracted at some point and forget it, right? I could have, if I'd had enough time, do spaced retrieval with it and say boot camp, and then a few minutes later, boot camp, and then a few minutes later, boot camp. But it really depends on what you find the easiest, right? There's no one way or the other that's best. It really is what works for you. Okay. And so I know we did fine because we're all really good at this, aren't we? Okay, your turn. Okay, take your memory path. And I want you to link these items to each point in your memory path. Now, if you don't have one, I suggest you use your house because it's a really easy one to pick up right away. And think about just the different waypoints in your house. And think about, just go through this list and think, how would you link apples to the first spot in your memory path?
And when we say go through the list, I'd just like to say, just in case anybody's writing these words down, don't do that.
Although, writing it down is another perfectly good way to remember things at times. So we want you to practice the memory path.
Exactly. Writing is a great strategy, even if you don't ever look at the list again. Just the act of writing it down is great.
Yeah.
That's not what we're practicing.
Okay, so apples. Where would you put apples? I'm not gonna tell you what I would do because I want you to create your own unique image, right? Okay, and avocado. Just think to yourself, where would that go in your list, in your path? Tuna. Yeah, so you might find a sandwich somewhere in your memory path. There's bread. You can put things together too if you want, like I did the tomato sauce and the spaghetti. Peanut butter. Oh, there's another tomato sauce. I guess we like tomato sauce. This whole list is makes me hungry. Vinegar.
Now, do you have to do it in order, in that order?
Well, typically the memory path is used when you want to remember a certain order. Now, maybe the order doesn't matter as much here, but it helps to keep it systematic at least, so that you can go from one room to the next, so you don't forget anything. Coffee. Butter. Ice cream. Give you a couple more minutes to think about it. I know it's not as easy the first time. Yeah.
I just want to ask a question I got there late. Do you want us to give it to you in that order or just?
Yes. We'll just say we're going to keep it in order for now. Yeah.